Welcome back, good people. Let's get right into it, man. Y'all see the bubbles? I love bubbles for some reason. Yeah, and go ahead and subscribe. Right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, you want to subscribe to this channel and to this channel, Calming Connections. Let me turn this down a little bit. All right, so let's get right into it. We're gonna pick it up right here. All right. Let's pick it up right here. Mainly, the issue was that the questions went too in depth, and more than once, he'd called the teacher out on a contradiction. Like when Mrs. Hughes wore a gold cross, but taught so passionately about how humans came from monkeys and how the universe was formed by some huge random explosion. Coincidentally, the fishing trip had been postponed due to Jacob publicly asking if she believed in Jesus Christ. He'd been placed on punishment after his parents had to meet with both Mrs. Hughes and the school principal. Now, this is my second time making this video this morning, starting this video this morning. I cut a piece of this sentence out, but I also took a note. I didn't take a note, but I wrote this note on Friday. Remember to imply or hint at how religious Jacob's mom is. Okay? But the part I cut out, I'm going to paste it right here because it's still on my... They'd finally gotten around to it. Okay, so I had to show you guys that I want to be completely transparent. All right. So, yes, you do have a point, son. But if you stop overthinking it, you'll see how I know she's back in the water, said Henry, asked before pointing to a section surrounded by briars, where a bundle of rubbery eggs were all grouped together. Daddy, those are... Yep. Alright, I don't like this music. I don't like the music. Y'all, I already told you guys that this is my second time starting over. I'm praying to make it to 15 minutes a day. I'm praying. I didn't sleep well. Had a wonderful day yesterday. The Jets won. If y'all didn't know, that's my football team. Oh. All right, this is the one I like. So we're going to keep it back here. Coincidentally, the fishing trip had been postponed due to Jacob publicly asking if she believed in Jesus Christ. He'd been placed on punishment after his parents had to meet with both Mrs. Hughes and the school principal. Yes, you do have a point, son. But if you stop overthinking it, you'll see how I know she's back in the water, said Henry before pointing to a section surrounded by briars where a bundle of rubbery eggs were all grouped together. Daddy, those are... Yep. Now let's keep moving. And keep your voice down before that mama come to see who's bothering her nest. Okay, I'll be extra quiet. I'll be so quiet you'll think that I left and went back home, but I'll still be right behind you. I'll be like a soldier moving through the... Boy, hush. I get the point. Just look at the water for anything floating on the top, like a log or something. We're not going to kill her, are we? Asked Jacob. No, but I don't want her to kill us either. The two tracked on, making their way around the circular pond, traveling clockwise through briars and thick hedge bushes, on the look for rattlers, water moccasins, and mama alligators. Finding a spot on a high berm where the tall grass didn't grow and a musky smell dwelled, maybe the resting spot for a pack of wild dogs, father and son began setting up camp. Looking across the landscape, they both scanned the dark green water back and forth as the sun climbed higher over the tree line. Varying beams of light was causing the 2-acre body of water to to appear as though one tremendous sheet of dark diamond. As Jacob came down from the berm and stood just in front of the sparkling mass, he casted a wavering image of a nearly 5 feet tall, chubby, dark almond-colored boy. He stood there, more than mesmerized by the moving image. "Jacob, what are you looking at? You see something?" asked Henry from the hill. "Nope," Jacob replied. "Just looking at how handsome I am." The boy smiled. "Boy, if you don't get your silly butt over here and put bait on this hook," Henry laughed. "Okay, I'll be right there. Just looking at myself, that's all." "Looking at yourself? Now, why in the world would you be looking at that ugly mug? You better be looking out for that gator before she comes out and bites your foot off, just like you were joking about." As Jacob continued to look down at the wavy water, he asked, "I'm little for my age, ain't I, Daddy?" Alright, so now we're gonna make this green because we're moving on. We're not moving. We're moving on. We're not holding on, but we're holding on too. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anybody who's been here for longer than a few seconds. We're holding on, aren't we? Alright, this is very dark. I like this music though. Y'all, I know I hate when you, I'll just say this, man. Y'all pay attention to what's going on with me in my life, okay? Pay attention. Just pay attention. It's fixing to be some changes going on, you know what I mean? It's fixing to be some changes for the better. And I mean that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta be selfish. I haven't been selfish in a long time. I'm serious. Anyways, so this is gonna be green. We starting on chapter 2, y'all, and I'm starting to, my energy is starting to pick up a little bit. The caffeine is starting to kick in, and music is very, very inspirational. I like this music. All right, so we're beginning a new chapter, and now these notes I put up there. Remember, it's early morning. Okay, yeah, I remember that. And hint at the spirit thing here. Did I hint at the spirit thing? I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did, but you guys may not see it as a hint, but subconsciously you will. Where did I hint at it? Okay. The two tracked on, making their way around the circular pond, traveling clockwise through briars and thick hedge bushes, on the look for rattlers, water moccasins, and mama alligators, finding a spot on a high berm where the tall grass didn't grow. On a high berm where the tall grass didn't grow, and a musky smell dwelled, maybe the resting spot for a pack of wild dogs. Father and son began setting up camp. I'm going to show you where I hinted at the spirit thing. Maybe I just call it the spirit thing. Had a wonderful little short film. I won't say a dream. I had a wonderful short film that came to me last night. I can see people listening to these videos at the airport. Just got the earbuds in, listening to my voice, listening to me struggle, but feeling some empathy and feeling some type of way about it. You know what I mean? I can see that coming. That's a good thing. And I appreciate you, the future person of people. And of course, I can't find where I put it. So that's pretty good. I know it's there. It's there. It's hidden so well that I can't even find it. I tell you what I'll do. No, I'm not gonna do that. No. I'm gonna find it though. I'm gonna find it. I'm wasting time, but I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna show you where I hinted at the spirit thing. Okay, so it's not there. And when I find it, you're gonna say, nah, that's not enough. And maybe I'll say that once I read it again. Yeah, okay. Alright, this is what I do. I know how to find it. You develop little tricks over the years how to find things when your eyes are not participating or cooperating. So this is what I'm gonna do. Alright. So as you can see, this is the word that I'm looking for because I know I have that word. As a matter of fact, you'll see what I'm saying. And so I went to, let me start over. All right, so I go to up here at search document. If you guys are watching, at search document, if you can remember anything about a space, a sentence, a paragraph, or whatever, you want to go to search document, and then you want to drop down, and then you'll see find. You'll see advanced find. Click on advanced find. What do you want to find? Find what? I know the word more is where I want to look, and I want to search the document starting from this part of the story on down. Then I hit find next, and it'll take me to more. Like, you can move this box. Mainly the issue was that the question went too in depth and more than, so that's not the one I'm looking for. Let's find another more. Okay, so that's where it is. That's where it is. This is where I left the hint. This is where the hint is. I may need to build it some more, but you see it's highlighted the word more. Let me read it from the beginning. As Jacob came down from the berm and stood just in front of the sparkling mass, he casted a wavering image of a nearly 5 feet tall, chubby, dark almond-colored boy. He stood there, more than mesmerized by the moving image. Okay, I am. Instead of more, I'll say All right, so if you know anything about building, a house, building a car, painting, writing music, putting together a book, you know it's all about the details. It's all about the details, y'all. That's why you have to go over something thousands of times to get it right. Now, I just had more. Now, when you read this, you see he stood there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it pause. I'm going to pause it. So I'm bringing a little more attention to this section. He stood there while also simultaneously trying to figure out, am I making it too obvious that something's going on with Jacob? So when I read it again, I'll figure that out. I'm not going to go through everything, but he stood there, and for some unbeknownst reason, he was more than mesmerized by the moving image. He stood there. And for some strange, he stood there, and for some strange reason, he was more than mesmerized by the moving image. Yes, that's enough. That's enough. Let's move on to chapter 2. While Jacob and his father were out fishing and being careful of mother alligators, Edna Wallace and her daughter Sonia were at home beginning the regimen of cleaning and cooking for Suge's birthday. Now, I just remembered that Edna is pretty religious. Being that she's religious, I'm going to get to a section here in a little bit about talking about the music. Being that she's religious, can she cope, or can she allow herself to listen to worldly music? How religious is she? Yeah. Okay. While Jacob and his father were out fishing and being careful of mother alligators, Edna Wallace and her daughter Sonia were at home beginning the regimen of cleaning and cooking for Suge's birthday party. Sonia! Edna called from the kitchen. Sonia Marie Wallace. Girl, where did you go? She asked to herself while searching through the cabinets for different spices. Rightfully so, she'd been worrying about her daughter in particular for the past 2 weeks. It had been that long since a co-worker's daughter ran off with a man nearly twice her age. Growing up in one of the most conservative Baptist homes in Green Pond, a small, close-knit community, it was deeply instilled in a woman that a young lady should always conduct herself just as that. And until the day of marriage, and even afterwards, the chores of being a good wife and caring mother should always outweigh any urges to live a worldly life. There's that word, worldly. But long before hearing the news of the co-worker's daughter through a friend at Piggly Wiggly, let's put that in parentheses, putting that in parentheses because it really, I don't really have to, that's just adding a little detail to it, but it doesn't really have to be there, you know what I mean? So I put it in parentheses. But long before hearing the news of the co-worker's daughter through a friend at Piggly Wiggly, it had been her everyday duty to pry into any affairs of Sonia. I gotta keep saying, Now, one interesting thing about Sonia. I wrote this story in 1999, y'all. My life is pretty complex. And if you are listening to the sound of my voice, you may want to, pay more attention. Sonia, believe it or not, is the name of a sister I never knew I had until I was 25. 25. Now, growing up, I did not know my biological father, and I'm going a little bit deep into this, but this is, believe me, it's strange. When I wrote this story in 1999, I knew his name, but I wasn't consciously, not that I remember, aware of, and I could be getting a lot of things wrong because I gotta find the original story. It's in a notepad somewhere in my house. But my biological father's name is Henry. But he was like this is 1999. I was 22. He was I hadn't seen him at this point. I hadn't seen him for 12 years. I had only seen him when I was 10 years old. He came to visit me as a baby, and I'm giving you guys a lot of information right now. But long story short, I didn't put Henry in the story as though he was my father. I just went a random name, popped in my head, Henry, boom. It just went well, right? And then Sonia, his daughter, my sister, I never even knew about her until I was like 25, 26. I don't even know. It was several years later. But I always felt like I had an older sister as a little boy. And growing up, I always thought I had an older sister. So there's a lot going on with this story, and that's why I'm taking my time with it. taking my time with it. There's other coincidences too. A lot of coincidences. But what's a coincidence? There's no such thing, right? But long before hearing the news of the co-worker's daughter through a friend at Piggly Wiggly, it had been her everyday duty to pry into any affairs of Sonia. As of late, the heat had been turned up a bit, and the poor child was hating life. "I'm in the bathroom," the girl yelled back. "Dang, every time I start doing something." She followed, speaking soft enough so that her mother couldn't hear. At the moment, and like so many other times, she was in the mirror, leaning in close, searching with the precision of a heart surgeon for more blackheads and pimples to dig out and scrub away. Cleaning water vapors from the wet glass in the hand that wasn't used to wipe the mirror. She held a steaming face cloth that reeked of rubbing alcohol and Noxzema. When does the story take place? Because I'm gonna have to change Noxzema, because I don't think kids use Noxzema these days. I'll just say pimple cream. How about that? All right. She held a steaming face cloth that reeked of rubbing alcohol and pimple cream. A concoction made to rid pimples. All right, let me go back. Oh, zits, yeah. A concoction made to rid zits. To rid zits. All right. Knowing that her mother wouldn't stop at just one outburst, she turned off the hot water and draped the rag over the faucet before moving to the hall. "What do you want, Mom?" she snapped while moving toward the kitchen. I just wanted to know where you were, that's all. I thought you done run off being so quiet," said Edna as her daughter peered into the small kitchen, red cheeks over a tight frown. "Is Sonya light-skinned, did it? Maybe. We'll see." Momentarily, she stared at the back of her mother's heavy frame, peeved. She slowly rolled her eyes while simultaneously turning to move in the opposite direction. At age 14, and with raging hormones fueling a never-ending supply of emotional instabilities, she'd fully entered into the life of adolescence, her second year of teenhood, with a certain kind of meanness. No one was exempt from the girl's sudden wrath of anger, but her pestering brother Jake paid for it more than anyone else. It was only 2 weeks before when she slapped the daylights out of him for simply being in her room. Or rather, it could have been that simple had he not gotten caught looking through her diary. Diary? Young girls carry diaries these days. Let's say scrolling through her phone. Scrolling through scrolling through her phone. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bring it up at least to social media times. Anyways, I think we'll see. Had he not gotten caught scrolling through her phone. A week before that, she'd kicked him in the back after he called her pizza face zombie. Then there was a time she choked him until the boy nearly went unconscious. The assault came after the girl had caught her little brother listening to one of her conversations with Keyshawn Edwards, a boy she spoke too highly of, in Jacob's opinion, and too frequently about, and a person her parents knew nothing of. Needless to say, anytime Jake was out of her hair was wonderful for her. The friction between the two siblings wasn't always there, however. That was a time when she shared an unbreakable bond. These days, they rarely showed each other any type of affection. Both Edna and Henry were sure that their daughter's entrance into womanhood was the root cause of her not so loving attitude and why she was treating her brother so cruel. Okay. I'm gonna stop it here, y'all. I apologize for the low energy. But I'll say this. I'm a little bit older, but I'm doing something for the very first time. I've never done this before. I don't read out loud. I don't read out loud into a camera while playing music in the background and trying to edit and write all at the same time. This is something brand new, but it's giving me more skills. And I encourage people my age and even older, try something new. Anyways, thank y'all for stopping by. This is Anthony L. Kelly. We're going to pick it back up here in the green tomorrow. Till next time, hit that like, subscribe, share, comment. I'm out.